Good afternoon, friends. Happy Christmas Eve to all of you. More lawmakers are pushing for new ways to provide low-income households with direct relief payments. You may be eligible for some relief if you have been affected financially by the crisis. This ranges from a few $100s to thousands of dollars. My dear friends, please do me a big favor and watch until the end of this video. Also, tomorrow on Christmas Day, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter the weekly giveaway, friends, please click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways.
CBO now updates the number saying, hey, you made the debt ceiling deal. You're basically going to remove about $100 billion of spending for the next few years on discretionary. So instead of spending $700 billion, you're going to spend $600 billion. That brought us down to 115% of debt to GDP. But then Moody's did their calculation and saying, well, with higher interest rates, higher healthcare costs, and we believe flat GDP growth, we think at the end of the 10 years, you're going to be at 120% of debt to GDP. Why that's a big deal is that's higher than during World War II. The one that terrified me was Bloomberg Intelligence. They actually have a fairly sophisticated data model, like Tax Foundation, like Joint Tax, others here, CBO has one. The Bloomberg model said, nah, you're going to like $52 trillion of borrowed money, 130% of debt to GDP at the end of the 10-year window. If this is true, please, I desperately hope Bloomberg Intelligence isn't true, but if you read their notes, it makes sense. And there's a couple things I want to throw out why their notes make sense. That's in 10 years, we're spending about $2 trillion a year in interest. Remember, CBO today, well, actually last week, put out their long-term estimates. Their long-term estimates of, because I know we all grabbed it and read it last week when it came out. Remember the little booklet? It's percentages of GDP to debt, but in there some line items. What's the borrowing? What's the interest cost next year? CBO, which has been far too conservative on some of these numbers for the last decade. But what did CBO say we're going to spend in interest next year? $750 billion next year. My math for this year was about 620, 630. We have one economist with us that says it could be 680 depending on the cost of this recent financing. But what was fascinating is something those who care about the honest math don't talk about, is in the notes from Bloomberg Intelligence. They said, hey guys, you really need to cut spending. Okay, but do understand, it's not a free option anymore. So when Bloomberg Analytics came back and said you're going to be at $51+ trillion of borrowed money at the 10 years, 130% of debt to GDP, think of this. Just the removal of that $100 billion of spending, got to do, going to pay interest on it and those things, but that's going to lower GDP next year by 0.5 point. So one of the things that goes on here is we're going to cut this. Fine. We need to reduce spending, but don't think it's a free option that the GDP continues to grow because you just removed $100 billion of spending out of the economy. Now, you got to do it. But when you do it, you also have to adopt other policies that grow. And there's the thing that frustrates me so much around here. It's we're incapable of thinking complex answers for complex problems. It's not just cut. You got to have policies over here, grow, promote investment, promote risk-taking. You don't get to just do one without the other.
According to Newsweek, many Americans have been on the lookout for more direct payments after our federal government ended stimulus payments. For many residents, their states have adopted generous tax rebates to help them as inflation remains high and the economy is uncertain. Currently, Montana residents can receive a rebate worth up to $2,500 if they filed their 2021 tax return. Married filers are set to receive up to $2,500, while individual filers could earn $1,250. Officials say that the specific amount for each taxpayer, being the maximum amount based on their filing status or the amount on line 20 of the tax form, that is, whichever is less. Governor Greg Gianforte said in a statement, "Residents of Montana overpaid their taxes. I look forward to getting this money back into Montana residents' pockets where it belongs." Also in November, Alabama taxpayers began to see $300 deposited if they filed a state income tax return for 2021 on or before October 17, 2022. The state spent $393 million on the refunds, with the checks coming fully from a $2.8 billion surplus in the Education Trust Fund. Newsweek has also confirmed that Arizona is giving $250 per person with dependents, with a limit of $750 for 3 dependents. For dependents over the age of 18, the payment is lowered to $100 each. Last month, Virginia also gave out payments to residents as long as they had a tax liability in 2022. A tax liability is money owed to the state after deducting tax credits. Under the rebate program, single filers earned $200, while joint taxpayers scored $400 together. Also, friends, according to Yahoo News, housing affordability plummeted this year to the lowest level on record. This is amid a rise in mortgage rates, which put ownership out of reach for millions of Americans. A new report published by Redfin showed that just 15.5% of homes for sale in 2023 were considered affordable for the typical U.S. household. That's the lowest level on record since Redfin began tracking the data in 2013. It also marks a steep drop from the typical 40% seen before the crisis home buying surge began, and the 20.7% figure recorded in 2022. The decline in affordability is partially due to a drop in listings. Yahoo News has stated that the Federal Reserve's interest rate hike campaign sent mortgage rates soaring above 7%. That is for the first time in nearly 2 decades last year. Rates then notched a 23-year high in October, although they have started to slowly retreat since then, as many investors believe the Fed is done raising interest rates. Even though mortgage rates are more than double what they were 3 years ago, home prices have hardly budged. That is largely due to a lack of available homes for sale. Sellers who locked in a low mortgage rate before the crisis began have been reluctant to sell, leaving few options for eager would-be buyers. The number of available homes on the market at the end of November was down by more than 4% from the same time last year. That is down 34% from the typical amount before the crisis began in early 2020. However, according to experts, housing affordability is finally beginning to improve and could continue to get better in 2024. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. Dear friends, thank you so much for being part of this community. I will be announcing several winners tomorrow for the Walmart gift card giveaway. Please make sure you enter the giveaway by clicking and liking several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Thank you, and have a very blessed and wonderful Christmas Eve day.